Hey, y'all. Welcome. It's that time of the month, right? We're kicking off September with the 9th episode of the Executive Suite podcast, and I'm so excited to be here. But before I get into all the good stuff, for those who are just here for the first time, let me introduce myself. My name is TeQuila Shabazz. I am the founder and managing director of Key Virtual Support Solutions, and I am your host today. A little bit about me: I am the outgoing bookworm of yesterday, the smart, no nonsense, and driven social entrepreneur of today, and tomorrow, one of billionaires, bosses changing the world. I'm most proud of being a new wife, a mother, a mentor, and coach. I pour love on everything I touch and move in obedience with God's plan, right? Sometimes we think we got it all figured out, but then God throw them pivots in, right? And you need to be able to have your head on swivel at all times. Again, I am the founder of Key Virtual Support Solutions, which is the fastest growing Black woman-owned staffing agency that matches high quality talent. Some call us virtual assistants, others call us independent contractors. I call us high achieving executives. And I match them with quality, high achieving executives and entrepreneurs and small business owners. Right here, we started the executive suite space for other self-made. And when I mean self-made, I mean started from the bottom, climbed their way up, used whatever they had in front of them to get to where they are. That includes their faith. So high achieving, high earning women having candid conversations about real life experiences on our way to and through success. Our purpose is to not only share our perspectives and lessons, but also dispel a lot of myths that come with the territory of being a driven, ambitious, and focused woman, because, honey, there are a lot of them. And I'm very excited to be joined here today with two dope ass women, right? Two that I really admire the work that they do. I'm going to introduce Robiar Smith of RB Pest Control and Pest Solutions, and then Danielle McGee with the Black Business Boom. All of us from Chicago, but Danielle is residing in Nashville for now. That's one of her little pit stops right now. Maybe forever, who knows? But that's where she at. But she's from here, right? And I don't do a lot of reading of bios, but what I do is allow the ladies to take time to really delve into who they are. And we're going to kick everything off with our first segment. And I call this the story segment, right? So I am going to start with Robiar, who I call Robbie. So you got to hear me say, so that's what I'm talking about, right? So Robbie, what's up, girl? How are you?
I am great, girl. I won't complain. How about you?
I am excellent. You glowing and stuff. It's your birthday month.
It's my birthday. So I'm in celebration mode. And RB turns 6 years old in August, so I'm excited.
Oh, 6?
6.
Woo! Wow. It seemed like just yesterday, for real.
Yes, yesterday. 6 years old. Yes.
That's a huge milestone. A lot of businesses don't make it past the 5-year mark, and most of our businesses don't make it past the 1 or 2 year mark, to be very real with you. So that is a huge marker of success. Congratulations on that, girl. So let's get into it. Okay. Let's find out who Robbie is. And my first question is always, tell us who you are, past, present, and future. And what I mean is, who were you growing up? You know, who are you today? And who are you tomorrow?
Oh, goodness. So I'm an artsy chick. Like singing and dancing is initially my first love. So back then I was always into arts, always on the stage. I am an artist first. A lot of people don't know that about me. I miss the stage and things like that. So back then, artist, expression, anything that I can express myself through, whether it was plays, arts, the mic, That's what I was doing. Now I'm finding that the universe is allowing me to incorporate that in my business. So that's why I'm really like great with public speaking and being spot on and things like that, because everything comes full circle. So I'm able to incorporate a little bit of that now. And in the future, I definitely see that platform growing and grooming other women and men in order to, scale their businesses and organizations. But right now I'm so busy scaling mine that I have opportunities like this. So I try to take it when I can. But so that's who I am, past, present, and future. I am all of those things.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah.
That's the same thing. I'm a huge artist. I believe that, people are like, what's our purpose? What's our purpose? And our purpose is to connect and create.
Yeah.
Like we're all made artists. Art is the proper task of life that Nietzsche says. And in my past, I did MCing, poetry. That was a past life. And it's very much a part of me. So the way that I approach business is definitely like an artist. So I understand that.
Yeah.
So tell me about your immediate family dynamics. Are you married, children, all that good stuff?
Yes. So I am married to the most beautiful man in the world, 17 years, been with him about 25 years. So we in the thick of it. We know each other. I have 3 children, 20 and 21, twins, and a daughter a year older. So they're like triplets, raising them. And dynamics of, I had all 4 of our parents until recently. My mom just transitioned, but she's working universally. So I don't feel, sad about that at all. I have an angel working on my behalf. But mom, dad, his mom, dad, and we both have sisters and they have children. So it's a really, really family dynamic over here at RB.
And how do your family members play into your business?
Well, I work with my father. So my father's been in pest control for over 43 years. So that's how I was introduced to pest control. And every day, I don't know if anyone has the pleasure of working with a parent or a child, but that dynamic is really, really interesting. You definitely have to find a rhythm and groove when you're working with someone just as close. Also, husband, work with children. So it's definitely one of those things where it's a rhythm that you have to find. It's not always easy. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it is, but it also feels good to know that you have people that are your eyes and ears and is just as much as invested as you are. So that's the pro to that. So that's who I work with on a daily, and we all in different capacities at RB.
Very good. So now let's talk about RB. Tell us a little bit about RB, how you got into it, because you don't really hear about a lot of women, and that's what makes you stand out in this industry. You don't hear about a lot of women starting pest control businesses.
Mm-hmm.
And then now you're working with your family. So tell us a little bit about the history, your history, how you got into this, and where you just your business overall.
Sure thing. So I was told to go to school, get education, and be a productive member of society. And I mentioned this in each one of my intros because that was the pillar in our home, is go get education or just be productive. It wasn't necessarily an expectation, but as long as you're a productive person, it works for everybody in the house. So that's what I did. I went off and got every degree you can think of and ended up in IT, becoming an IT professor, a business entrepreneurship professor. And from there, as I was helping other students scale and create business plans and SWOT analysis and just starting their business from start to finish, I started knowing this in the back of my head. And at that moment, I said, pest control has been around. My dad keeps saying I need to get into pest control. With his old school approach, with my new school approach, this can be a great marriage. And so 6 years ago, I finally passed that test after 3-4 times taking it over a course of 2-3 years. It was not an easy test. Even though I was around pest control all my life, it wasn't an easy test to run up on because you have to learn the life cycle, the math part of mixing the insecticide. So I finally passed it in 2016, started it in my living room. Management found out that I had a company. And so they gave me 30 days to move and was like, so I was at a crossroad between, okay, I quite can't afford anything else. But at the same time, this is something that I really think if I stick with will work. Best decision I ever made in my life. moved and continue to grow RB Pest Solutions right now today. So we're located in Illinois. We're also located in Indiana now. We have a retail store that we've opened up since then, which is the second business. And now the third business up under the entity is Premium Products, which is coming to stores and coming online near you. The goal is to be the fastest growing in the Midwest and to just continue this legacy as we go.
Very good. Now, you said you grew up with pest control.
Yeah.
Did your dad have a pest control business, or did he work for another company?
So he worked for various companies, and he was just a really damn good exterminator. Anybody knows, if you call Michael, and his phone rings right now today, if you call him, he will get rid of your issue. But he never actually started the company. But that's the thing about timing and mustard seed, is that when you plant something, 43 years he's been in this business, and would have never in his wildest dreams thought that his daughter would take it as far as I've taken in such a short period of time. Or let me say, we've taken it in such a short period of time. But yes, all my life he's been an exterminator. So I've been around it all my life. I just never thought I would be involved in the industry.
Now, is he an exterminator for RB Pest Solutions today, or does he have a different role in the company?
So he has all different roles. He's an old school man, which means that he's the hardest working man I know, one of the hardest working men I know. So you'll see him on a route. You'll see him in the retail store. He hires all the new guys that comes in and take them through the new orientation program. You will catch Michael. If you go in Chatham and go on 83rd and Cottage Grove, you will see Michael Bitten talking to all the entrepreneurs on the block. He's just one of those where he was just okay with the truck and just having the business. So now it's exceeded his expectation. So he has he's more of in a mentor role right now, which is where we like for him to be. He's passing on gems.
So if someone wants to become an exterminator, do they have to go through the same test that you went through, or is it a totally different process because you were working to start a business?
So each state has a Department of Public Health. And so what you would do is, we are an essential business, and that's the key term that I try to drive here, that pest control is not optional. It is an essential business. We're right up there with your most important people that deal with the public health. So you go through the public health and you take your structural pest control exam. How you study for it is study materials and things like that is on the site that you can download to prepare for it. And you look at the testing dates and you go test for it. And then it's different tests. As you take that entry test, now you can go off into wildlife. You can go into mosquito. I have agriculture, wildlife. So which means I can go into farming and help deal with the pesticides of the food, which is what is my intention to do very, very soon. But it's so huge. The industry is amazing. It's not just about pests and killing your spiders and your roaches and that so forth. It's really about it's the public safety of the people. And it's an important role because we're dealing with insecticides. So we try to go to eco-friendly route, but it's really a rewarding field.
I love that. And I remember 6 years ago, you was in that truck too, out there doing the work. I remember, and now I could just be driving down the street and I see your trucks out there and I just have a moment. I'm like, man, I'm so proud. I'm very proud. Okay. And I'll be like, Dre, I know her. Right. So just in closing of your piece of this segment, this is such a subjective idea. Success is such a subjective idea. How do you define success and make sure that you are meeting that every day? Just in closing, we have about a minute left.
So I think what's important for me is that I'm in this business strictly for legacy. I am in this business, and in 2022, I am trying to achieve what has never been done before. And that's crazy, right? Is because having a multi-billion-dollar Black-owned, woman-owned pest control company to take over, I think I want to put my footprints in that, and I want to be the one to be able to do that, or at least grab the torch and pass the torch, because now I have 3 daughters that's in the industry. But the thing is that I'm trying to do what's never been done before, make history. So that's the appealing part about what we're doing here. We're nationally recognized for what we're doing. And so I'm super excited to just kind of be that trailblazer, to set the tone, to say someone that looks like me, come from where I come from, can run a multi-billion-dollar business. And it looks this way. And it looks like us. We're not trying to be like anyone else. We're not trying to sell services. And in our community, all of our guys are in the community that we hire. So I'm just super excited to just really just make history at this point, or be
I
part
love
of
it.
be part
You
of it.
definitely ain't trying. You doing, honey. You
Thank
are
you.
doing. You are trailblazing. You took off running, right?
Thank you.
So I am extremely proud of you and rooting you on because you are stepping into territory that you've never stepped in before.
Mhm.
I understand that. You know how I always am like hashtag billionaire Bella. So we on that same trajectory of creating legacy and doing things that have never been done before. And that means taking a lot of chances and
Mhm.
really believing in yourself. So kudos to you. Thank you so much for that. I
Sure.
feel so inspired. And I want to pass the mic over to Danielle McGee of Black Business Boom. How are you, girlfriend?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
I'm excellent. I am
Yeah.
excellent. I'm always happy when I'm in the presence of dynamic people, especially
Yeah.
women. So the same thing. I want to know about Danielle more. I know, just like Robbie, I've had a chance to, of course, talk to her off camera, and build with her over the
Mhm.
years. You are newer in my
Mhm.
circle, but have always been there.
Yeah.
Funny enough.
Yeah.
So let's talk about you. Tell me a little bit about who Danielle was before or who you were growing up, who you are today, and who you are tomorrow.
Absolutely. So I always, no matter who I'm talking to, start with I'm from the South Side of Chicago. So being in Nashville for the last 6 years, like it feels very important to me to let folks know that I'm from Chicago, born and raised on the South Side, in borderline High Park. I've always been really laid back type of person, really kind of operate in this space of being extremely laid back and what I even would say is lazy, but also being a hustler and a go-getter, and it spent my childhood with my mother. My father lived in Atlanta. He's always been part of my life, but really every day with my mother, and my grandmother, who was the president of a bank on the west side of Chicago. And so I picked up a lot of who I am from those three people. My mother is very much that laid back person. My father is a hustler, was for real a hustler, like a real hustler when you say
Yeah.
that word. And my grandmother was this like ultra professional woman, that had the nice car, the condo, president of the banks, floor seats at the Bulls game, and so I've really picked up a lot of who I am now and who I've always been from, and had that balance of those three people where it's kind of like I have this laid back personality that's like I'm gonna do what I feel like doing today, but when things got to get done, I'm gonna make sure that they get done, and still aspiring, always aiming higher and wanting to be, a professional community, a community leader, and help, a servant leader, really, and helping other people achieve their dreams, which really brought me to where I am today with Black Business Boom. I opened my first business 10 years ago, spa on the South Side, and learned a lot of lessons. I thought because I had gone to school, and had an MBA and studied marketing and management, I thought I could open the doors of a business and be successful. And I found out the hard way that it's a real different thing. That MBA was preparing me to run somebody else's business, not to start and run my own. Learned a lot of hard lessons. And so today, I'm just all about how do I save someone else from a lot of the hard lessons that I learned. How do I pour into my community the lessons that I've learned over the last 10 years to help other Black business owners scale and grow businesses, and really, most importantly, live the lives that they want to live every day. And that's what's been important to me since I left my corporate job 2 years ago, which I had a successful career in healthcare, which brought me here to Nashville. left that job, and every day I really get to live the life that I want to live. I get to be like, I'm gonna sleep late today, or I'm gonna get up and I'm going to work for the next 14 hours, or whatever I feel like my day needs to look like and my life needs to look like. I get to live that. And that's important to me. And it's important that I provide opportunities for other people to reach that level in their lives as well.
Yes, I love that. So, what do you see yourself? See, I always talk about, like, me and you are kindred spirits in that way, right? Like, I left corporate 10 years ago, right? 10 years ago, like, I need to be able to make my own schedule, move how I want to move, have the impact that I want to have. But I also had the same level of arrogance. It was, oh, I made them millions of dollars because I come out of like executive sales, you know, and operations. And I'm like, I make them millions of dollars. I can do the same thing. And the first 7 years of being an entrepreneur, while I had a huge impact on my community, doing work very similar to yours, I wasn't making no money. Right. And that's what I was proud of myself on. Like, I can make money. I know how to make money. But once God had to take me through that 7 years of really learning and seeing. Right. And then when I started my second business, I immediately began making money because of the things that I learned from the first time around. And one of my biggest things that I do, not only do I want to leave legacy like my sister Robbie and build a multi-billion-dollar business, not so that I can have billions, but so that I can leave an impact on my community and help other people, right? That's always been my purpose and my why, starting with my own family, but also for myself, so I can live that cat life. See, we talked about this. I want to live that cat life. You understand? Y'all see how cats live?
I want to be a house cat. Absolutely.
They live so good. A good house cat.
They just look out the window all day on the couch.
All day resting.
I have a cat, and she's over there knocked out sleep now.
Out. Unbothered.
Yeah.
Being rubbed all day. And frolicking. You know what I mean? I want to live that cat life, unbothered. Pets are so unbothered and well rested, and self-care is their priority, right? So that's like my own personal long-term goal, right?
Yeah.
So who do you see yourself as being in the future?
I will tell you the most important thing that I see myself being is a good wife. Right now, I'm getting married in 5 weeks. So that is like the most important role for me right now, is really preparing myself to be a good wife. I see myself selling my business within the next 3 to 5 years. I am typically the type that is like, I'm bored. I do something and then I get bored with it. I have not reached that level yet with Black Business Boom, which is surprising to me. But I feel like at some point I'm going to be like, you know what, it's time for me. I get ideas, business ideas like every day. Like every day I'm like, that's a business. I thought about something this morning. I was like, I could do that, you know? So I have to stop myself from doing all of the things. And so I really think that, you know, in the next 5 years, my plan is to really build an operationally sound business and a great brand that is thriving, and I can sell to someone and be on the beach figuring out what my next move is. So that, and, you know, I've set goals for myself specifically around how do I show up better with my family and with my friends over the next year or two. All of my, you know, like business is good. Business is doing well. I'm bringing in the team that I need so that I don't have to do a lot of the things, so that I can show up more in the community. I've built, you know, a Facebook community with almost 35,000 Black Nashvillians. And I'm pulling in a lot of different directions. I want to show up for the community here in Nashville more. I want to show up for my family as my parents are aging and my grandmother is aging. I want to show up and make sure that I'm there to support my friends and those that are most important to me. So really, like, as I'm thinking about my future, it's really more showing up for the people who have supported me through my journey, to get where I am.
Yes, absolutely. I completely agree with that. Yes. And that's, we so often, and myself included, when 10 years ago, my why and my outcomes were completely different from what they are now. Right. And they look like what you're talking about right now. It's how can I show up for my husband? I just got married, right? You and I talked about it. How do I create a business that is operationally sound and is valuable so that within 3 to 5 years I can sell it, right? You and I talked about this. I mean, I'm already having the conversation with investors now. How do I set this up, right? So I'm with you on that. And real quick, before we go to this commercial break, we're a little bit over time, but I have to ask you this question. How do you define success, and do you feel that you're currently meeting it? It sounds like it, but how do you define it?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I could put a dollar amount or revenue amount on it, but success for me really is freedom. And right now, I feel like I have a lot of the freedom that I want. I still have to show up in my business every day. And I would like to not have to show up as much. So that'll really give me the freedom that I desire to consider myself successful. So to have the money freedom and the time freedom is what's important to me. And both I'm getting there. So I feel like finally I can say, I am successful, which I've been very cautious about that, because a lot of people externally are like, you doing it. And like you said, I spent a lot of time not making a lot of money. So from the outside, it was looking great. From the inside, I was like, oh, how am I pay myself this month? So now I'm finally able to pay myself every month, not worry about that. And most days I get to decide how I want to spend that day. So I feel like I'm finally, reaching the success, what I consider success.
Nice.
Yes, I love this. We are going to go to a commercial break. To all my executives that are in the audience, I want you guys to go ahead and drop your comments, your feedback on what you have been left with from both Robbie and Danielle, because they both were dropping gems, honey, about leaving legacy, about understanding that success, just like for me, the same thing. It's about having complete control of my time and what I do in that time, right? And living kind of this real, y'all know what I say, that cat life, that soft life, you understand? I've been going hard for a long time, and I mean, getting married and all of that has really settled me down, right? So we're gonna go to this commercial break, and then we're gonna come back for the heart-to-heart segment.
Key Virtual Support Solutions matches you with highly qualified, pre-vetted entry to executive level talent for your business or personal needs. We can support you or your team with administrative, sales, customer service, or operation needs. The process is simple, and we can match you within 72 hours. Call 217-212-4367 or visit our website at keysupportsolutions.com to learn more.
All right. We are back. And as you guys have seen, you definitely can contact Key Virtual Support Solutions, talking about living a soft life, right? You need help to do that, honey. You need a team to do that. There is absolutely no way we would have been able to scale the way that we have been able to scale in my business. And I'm sure Robbie and Danielle, you've heard them say it. You've heard the word team mentioned. You cannot do it without a team. So if you are in need of a first hire or a next hire, you definitely can contact Key Virtual Support Solutions, and we can help you out with that. Speaking of living a soft life, let's talk about some self-care, okay? Let's talk a little bit about some self-care and what that looks like for you. So everybody, that may look different for different people, right? Some people, it's like, let me hike up this mountain. Other people like, I'm going to sit back on this couch. Another person like, let me go to the spa. So it varies, right? So what does that look like for you, Robbie?
I have to be intentional about being laid back with my self-care because I'm having a ball. I'm having fun with this thing. I mean, because this is not easy to scale and to do what I'm trying to achieve. And there's so many roadblocks in my way. And I am having a ball with doing it. And so that's why I understand a lot of successful companies where they're like, enjoy the journey. Don't necessarily rush to the destination, because you change and you level up and you meet so many different things along the way that shows you about yourself personally and professionally. So I have to be intentional, and I'm so glad that I have a partner that has shown me, okay, we got 2-3 days clear. Let's book this trip. Let's go. And so he's been very intentional about that with me. And so now it's become part of my routine where I'm like, wait, okay, it's been a couple of weeks. I need to get on a plane and go. And so we're enjoying that because we're empty nesters and we're discovering each other in a new way as well. That's the thing about relationships as well, is that you get a chance to learn the same. You can have been around somebody so many years, but if you all are not getting to know each other in them different phases of your life together, then that's where the miscommunication happens. So that's what I'm doing. That's self-care for me, is intentionally sitting down, but also when I have those moments where I'm just like, I'm going hard, I'm having a ball doing it. And for me, that's self-care. So I guess it's listening to your GPS and knowing when to turn it on and off. And that's your self-care. Everybody get a chance to define it for themselves.
Yeah. So tell me about some activities that you've done because you said having a ball. You know what? Yeah, and I've seen pictures. I've seen how y'all get down and catch flights and going to concerts and do it, being very spontaneous, right? So I'm having a ball with you. So tell me some of the activities that you've done, like the last activity of around self-care that you've done.
So the last activity professionally is I've been in a professional development course for the past year, me and my executive team. And I've had people come into my organization and pick it apart and put it on the wall. Now, I know I've had issues and some things that I need to tighten up in my organization, but it's nothing like seeing it on the wall and someone holding you accountable. Handed me my ass over this past year. Has handed me my ass and has caused me to say, oh, wow, I thought I was doing great over here, but I need to do the financials over here. My ROAs is not looking right. I'm not forecasting correctly.
Yeah.
So as a result, what I do is when he hands me my ass, what I decide to do is treat myself and go on a trip. So it's almost like professionally and personally, I'm like, okay, we're worn out. We're doing the work. We're implementing things along the way. Now I get a chance to reward myself and just say, okay, now it's travel time. I'll book a flight and go eat somewhere for the afternoon or go do things. And so having that luxury and being in that space to do that too, because we are empty nesters, I have such gratitude to God and the universe for that. So I work hard and reward myself. It's that balance. That's what
I love that. I love how you set that up, because most people will go right to the trip, getting on that flight. But you talked about, first I had my ass handed to me.
Yeah.
And I'm going to celebrate the fact that I was able to sit through that, digest that, and have my ass handed to me and just really process everything that just happened.
Yeah.
Right. And then come back refreshed, ready to attack whatever strategy needs to be done. Like, I think I think I need to incorporate that. I never thought about that. Right. Like,
I was told to do that.
Yeah.
I was told to do that. So I'm passing that on to many of the mentors that mentor me. Don't all go, it ain't all hard and go hard. And no, because you have to process what you're doing. So please take that on. Which I've got a book from your page. I mean, you lived in different countries and I watched you. Girl, we not even gonna go there. But
I mean, never has it been, here it is, because I just had my ass handed to me, right? Like, I thought I was doing some right? Until you bring people in that can see things that you cannot see.
Yeah.
Right. And that's part of business. People need to understand that in order to succeed, you need people in the room that are smarter than you and that know things that you don't know, and you can take that constructive criticism, because they're not there to hurt your feelings.
Mm-hmm.
You hired them for a very specific purpose.
Yeah.
You have a goal to grow. You can't be a know-it-all.
You can't. You can't. You can't.
Go ahead, Robert.
No, you can't. You have to be able to have people literally come in and pick you apart. Don't have any emotional tie to you. And that's what I love about what we've been doing, is that I've been like, oh my God, I mean, I'm getting the accolades outside. Everyone's like, oh, you're making history. But then you get opportunity to go in-house. So I want my laundry to be just as clean in the inside as it is on the outside.
Yes.
And then again, traveling with your spouse. We've been to different places separately, but it's nothing like going to that same place with your man or with your woman and sharing that piece. So I'm excited for the both of you and how that looks. Yeah.
Let's talk about some of these challenges. What are some of the current challenges that you're facing in your business as you continue to grow? And before you answer that, tell us where you are as a business, because there's levels to this thing. So where are you as a business owner in your business, meaning the size of your team, revenue, that sort of thing. And then what kind of challenges are you facing now being at this level of business?
So right now I'm at the level where I'm building my culture, right? Because you start your business and you're doing business, getting clients, bringing them on. You see the accounts coming in, you having people come in to accommodate the accounts. And then you look up and your ratio, I can't manage over 20 plus people at one time. They have different personality styles. They have different communication styles. And it's my job and my organization. Everyone knows I work for them. No one works for me. I work for them. It is my goal to create the vision and mission for the organization. And it's also my goal to see what makes each one tick so that I can have productive people come in. I don't want to be a busy organization. We want to be productive. So one may be a mom. And the goal is for her to be able to pick up her kids, drop them off, and be involved versus someone who's there strictly for the money. Give me my money, RB. I don't care about nothing else. Forget your legacy, things like that. I need the money. So knowing the culture of your organization and cultivating these people so they can be the best version of themselves for you so that you can continue to go out and you can just be the face and you can be able to represent what they're doing behind the closed scenes is where we are right now. And that's a challenge in itself. The gas market right now, having fleet, I'm a service-based business, which means if I have more than 15, 20 trucks out there, imagine my gas per month. Imagine my payroll. Imagine the things that I have to go through in order to stay afloat in the business. And then the receivables may not be coming in as fast as the bills is going out. And so those are the things where you have to say, we're a growing, scaling company, but how do you want to grow and scale? And sometimes revenue-wise is not always the case. You want to streamline your process. You want to make sure things are easy for your user, on your customers, and yourself, so that it doesn't matter who you put in those seats. Your thing is running like a wheel or a machine. So we're structure people first, structure, culture, people, because I need to be able to place anybody in those seats and we don't skip a beat. And I can't manage all them people there. So that's where I am right now, is cultivating my culture so that we don't jeopardize the integrity of our work while we're growing.
Yeah, and I can't say that enough to people. And I mean, I see businesses at anywhere from 6 figures to 8 figures, and some who have scaled so quickly without having those processes in place, without understand what their mission, their vision, or their purpose is. Because a lot of our businesses, especially when you're talking about Black businesses, we came in off a hustle.
Yeah.
Right. We didn't come in with a business plan or this is where I want to be in 5 years and having a leadership team, etc. We just went out and we operated in our zone of genius and looked up like, oh, I'll make it $250,000. Oh man, I'm at half. Oh man, I'm 10 million, right? And so being able to take those pauses and really understand, like you said, and it's so important. I can't stress it enough, understanding culture and the people that are coming in. I cannot stress that enough. So I love that you touched on that, and that can be challenging because as you evolve, sometimes you have to go back and revisit some of the things that were a part of the plan, but may not necessarily be working out, right? Because the truth is that the people define the culture.
There you go. And you can't make your own decisions. If you don't have the right people in the right seats, you have to fastly adjust and pivot.
Exactly.
You don't have time to. You have to adjust. So put the right people in the right seats. Build your
and that's why it's important to understand what your culture is so that you understand how to hire the right people. Because if you're a real positive, optimistic company, or you have that optimistic culture, for example, and then you hiring a whole bunch of negative Nancy's that complain about doing everything, they can quickly shift the way everybody else looks at things. So you have to understand your culture. You have to understand your mission. You got to know your why, and you got to know clearly where you're going. So that is challenging, and it's something that we need to revisit, not on an annual basis, but literally on a monthly, quarterly, like all throughout the year. You're looking at that and you're saying, okay, are we aligned? Right. So I absolutely love that, Robbie. What about you, Danielle? Let's talk about self-care and let's talk about challenges, right? So
so I can spend a whole day in bed. So like that is my self-care. I think last Saturday, I don't think I did anything. Like I literally I turned on Law and Order SVU and I lay there, and my fiance is the total opposite. So he's like, I gotta get up, gotta wash the car, gotta go to the gym, gotta do it. And I'm like, all right, well, you take care. And I'm like in this bed, and I at some point started to, like, when we first moved in together after we got engaged, it was kind of like, I should probably get up and do something because he's doing something. Now I'm like, no, again, I'm living the life I want to live. That's what he want to do. And that's what keeps him going and what keeps him happy. I'm the complete opposite. Like, if I do not have the energy to do anything, I'm not doing anything. I truly enjoy laying in the bed, not doing anything, ordering Uber Eats, and watching Law and Order. I love the spa. We did go to Toronto. He travels for work too, so I popped up to Toronto a couple weeks ago and straight from the plane went to the spa and had like a half day of spa services, and the next day I went to another spa and had like 3 hours of services. So that's how I really take care of myself. But for me, it's about rest, and getting my rest and not feeling the pressure to like be doing something like around the house or work or anything, like to just be able to be and lay in the bed and do nothing if I feel like I want to do that.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm with you. Like I said, it's like I've been working and adulting since 16 years old. Right? Like
my first job at 12. I'm like, I'm tired of working.
Listen, no, but I'm so serious. I was a junior in high school with an apartment, a child, a man that I was playing wifey to. You know what I mean? For a long time. I've been doing it a long time, and I'm in my mid-40s, right? So I'm with you. Like, just let me. And Dre is so opposite. He like feels guilty. He up every day at 5. You know what I mean? Every day on the weekends. Wow. So yeah, because that's what he does, and he that's how he was trained even young, and he being an athlete too. Athletes rise early, they busy bodies. I feel guilty. I'm like, damn, he didn't wash dishes. He out there going line. I'm still,
exactly.
But I also am retiring from a space of working 16, 17, 18 hours a day. It took me 4 years now at this point to get to a place where it was okay, where I said, it's okay to rest. It's okay not to work. I had to be very intentional about those things, because Robbie, who's known me for a while, you know how I used to run and go and not rest and none of that. I would be going hard, right? So I had to literally switch my mindset, right?
Yeah, love it.
Yeah. So about.
I'm proud of you too.
The challenges. So the challenges, I think right now is just like you kind of said, like figuring out who are the right people. We are growing fast. Like, so to go from like 150K 2020 to like almost 300 last year to like close to 1 million or more than 1 million in revenue this year is fast, for such a small team. And so I realized I was not only operating as the COO or the CEO, I was operating as the COO, the CMO, like doing all of these things, the CTO. And I'm like, who are the people who I really need to support me? Also identifying people who understand the mission. Like, I can't have you work for me if you don't understand why we're doing this work. Like, if you are, And I mean, we are a for-profit company, but we are a social enterprise, so we are mission driven. So it's important to find people who are just as passionate about supporting Black businesses as I am, because it's not all about the money for us. So that is what's truly been a challenge, is like, I'll be like, I need somebody, and somehow you just kind of, you get whoever you can get to help you right then and there, and not really planning for the long-term support that's needed. So now I'm like, okay, I need to at least get a fractional COO in place. Like, I am the COO. I'm not, and I should not be. Because I'm not even an operations person. I'm not a type A box checker type of person. I be operating on vibes, So I'm like, I need someone who, like, I literally be like, today I think I need to get these things done. Like, I'm not out over here with checklists and Asana boards, and like, I need that person who can keep us all on track with the things that we need to do to achieve the mission. So I think really figuring out who those people are that you need to support you. I think, as a Black business owner, also understanding all the financial stuff that's happening behind the scenes, and financial statements, and, all these ratios and all those huge challenge. And the type of business we have, like, we can have a $3,000 month, and then we can have a $300,000 month. And so how do we figure out to not have that? Like, how do we figure out a way around that? Do we want to continue to operate in that way, or can we, have these streams that are more consistent in the business? So every day is just a lot of things to figure out. Some days I'm literally like, I don't want to make another decision. I'm tired of thinking. And those are the days I'm in the bed. Like, those are the days where I'm like, I don't want, and then at the same time, wedding planning. So I'm like, people only want to know what kind of cake you want and what flowers, and I don't want to make another decision. I'm like, I don't want to decide nothing else for nobody else today. And that's when the self-care moments are most important to me, because those are the days when I'm like, I could have a breakdown. If anybody asks me one more thing, I could snap. And so let me go to the spa, or just stay in this bed and not stay in the bed with the computer. Put the computer down and really just do nothing.
Yeah, and I totally get that. I mean, it's why I ended up just eloping, for real. For real. I went from, I'm going to have a wedding, to meeting with the wedding planner, and just the meeting itself stressed me out, to saying, no, I'm not doing that. I swear. She was like, and we can do this and do, I was like, it wasn't even a money thing. It was, that's too much for me, right? And then it was, I'm going to do something small, right? That's what I said, we going to just elope. Then I was like, this is our first time for both of us. I'm going to do something small. But then when I started talking about I'm going to do something small, the people that I said I was going to do this with, they start stressing me out.
They be the main ones.
You didn't do that. I said, look, listen, all of this done, not doing it.
Yeah.
Right? Not doing it. And then was like, come on, babe, let's just go ahead and do this thing right here.
Listen, if we hadn't signed the contract for the host hotel that says that we were going to have to pay the money whether the rooms were used or not,
right?
About 3 weeks ago, I was like, I'm canceling all of it. We going to the courthouse, and then I was like, we just signed this contract 4 days ago. Like, we got to use these rooms, or we got to pay $13,000 anyway. So let me pull it together. So, but yeah, it's a lot. Yeah. People don't understand all of the decisions you're making every day running a business, whether it's something as simple as, should I use this tool or that tool, or what scheduling platform we should use to, like, who needs to run this company when I leave, or who can help me, how do we execute this contract well, what survey do we, like, it's
too much.
A series of decisions I'm making all day, every day. So when someone calls me and they're like, are y'all jumping the broom? I'm like, I don't know if the lady bring a broom, we'll jump the broom. It's not a broom. All I care is that the officiant is there, and me and him are there, and there's some food, and that there are some cocktails. Other than that, I don't care about nothing else at this point.
Nothing else. Yes.
Girl, listen. We are having so much fun, and this has been so great. It is so important to take care of yourself at all levels of business. Make that an intentional act from the beginning, right? So that you don't burn out. Trust me, I'm telling you from experience, where I did not know how to turn off. I became angry, cranky. I ruined relationships. I found myself just like in a deep, dark place. But also, there was light at the end of the tunnel, because right now I'm living my best life, right? Because I'm doing what makes me happy. And that's what I'm hearing from both of you guys. We're going to go ahead and go to a break. And right now, this is our guest moments to shine. So we're going to do 60-second commercial breaks with them. So we're going to start with RB Pest Solutions, where she tells us a little bit more about her business and how you can support it.
So RB Pest Solutions, we specialize commercial residential property. You can give us a call at 312-217-9605 in Illinois. And our Indiana clients call us at 219-472-1701. Visit us at www.rbpestsolutions.com. And you can also go visit products as well for any premium products at www.rbpremiumproducts.com. And we're located 8243 South Cottage Grove. So you can come into the store, purchase products. An expert will walk you through how to apply those things, or you can schedule a service. So we are your one-stop shop to all your pest control needs.
Yes, thank you. And then, of course, with Robbie, let me ask you, y'all take care of spiders?
Absolutely.
They've been taking over, like my crib. I just bought this house, and I didn't have anything, but I hit summer, and I was like, spiders, what's up with y'all just camping out?
Well, they're here.
Or is it just me?
No,
Well,
I got the same problem.
It's a sign that, because they're natural exterminators. So when you see them, they are taking care of the other bugs that you don't see. So they are natural exterminators. They're helping out. It's just that when they become a pest, then it's nuisance and things like that. So we do have some things where we'll come and we will treat your home for spiders. You will not see them anymore, or you can come into the store and purchase something where you can spray on your baseboards. But half the battle is taking that broom, removing the webs, get you some natural oil, neem oil, peppermint clove, put it in a spray bottle, spray your baseboards, and you're good to go.
Yeah, so we did the peppermint, and I'm seeing fewer of them, and Dre really is the one that is like, this too much, because he's tall, right? So he always running into webs and stuff. So that's good. Let's learn about Black Business Boom. Danielle.
I am Danielle McGee, founder and CEO of Black Business Boom and Black Owned Nashville. Black Business Boom trains Black business owners to help them grow and scale their business. We offer our flagship programs, our Boom and Marketing program, which is a 6-week cohort teaching small business owners the fundamentals of digital marketing for them to grow. Our other flagship program is Boom Into the Bank. Boom Into the Bank teaches small Black-owned businesses how to become bankable, giving them all the knowledge they need around the financials for their business, everything from bookkeeping to planning for retirement as a small business owner, and tax strategies to help you reduce your tax liability. We also are running Black-owned Nashville, which is our directory of over 1,500 local Black-owned businesses in Nashville. And in partnership with one of our Nashville partners in the Nashville Small Business Recovery Fund, we are launching 20 workshops for Black-owned businesses in the Nashville area, and actually bringing in subject matter experts from all over the country to host these virtual workshops, giving small business owners what they need to be able to grow in everything from HR to processes and operations, and of course, marketing and accounting foundations.
Love it. That's the space that I started my entrepreneurship in, right? So I was talking about social entrepreneurship, B businesses in 2011, 2012, when it wasn't commonly stated. And it was hard to find mentorship or even support with that sort of thing when you're talking about building a social enterprise, being classified as an L3C model, right? I've always was like, I'm innovative, right? But I struggled a lot in that space because we're talking about maybe post COVID, post George Foreman, it was okay for people to say, but I'm Black Lives Matter. But before that, like I was in that era, right?
Yep,
Where
yep.
it was like pulling teeth for people to support Black businesses. So I did a lot of driving awareness. I worked with Cassiopeia, who you guys have just gotten together. So driving awareness of the people and places doing the work in our community, collecting data around that, and doing so very strategically and using that data to come up with strategic action plans, whether it's for marketing or doing mobs, etc. And we were able to put thousands of hours of time and millions of dollars into businesses, redirect that. So I was part of that early movement, right? But it burned me out. So I already know the challenges that you're facing. And I'm also working with businesses now, which is kind of what kind of was a gateway to what I'm doing, is because being on that side of things, I was exposed to a lot of business owners inefficiencies when it came to operations and processes, and I mean some big major businesses, right, that just did not have their back office together, right? And even knowing my own challenges as a solopreneur. So I know the importance of the work that you're doing.
You know, it's now kind of trendy. I mean, we've seen so many directories and things like this that have popped up over the last few years, but I look back, 7 years ago, 8 years ago, I was working on building a platform called Date Maker, actually, and it was about bringing Black couples together by having them support Black businesses. And so we were providing date night specials for Black-owned businesses to actually bring Black couples together, to force them really to go out and spend time together and have date night while supporting Black-owned businesses. So, like you, doing the work before it became this trendy thing, and not getting a lot of the support and people not really understanding, and now everybody's riding the wave. But
oh my God, I was like, if I would have burned out for a couple more years, I probably would be huge in this space right now.
There was so many things that I had in place to support Black-owned businesses that I wasn't getting support for, that I just dropped and was like, never mind. Like you, had I just kept going with some of those things,
it would have been huge. But all is always in order, and I appreciate the things that I'm doing now because I'm able to help people scale from solopreneurship and build teams and move from $65,000 a year to $250,000, $500,000, and upwards, right? So and also not only help the businesses but employ Black people from my city, this country, and outside of this country. We are one of the only, if not the only, that employs 99% from the African diaspora.
That's amazing.
That right there is just not even heard of. So Robbie, let's talk about some of the challenges. I mean, I think all of our businesses, to be quite honest with you, we say this, right? But all of our businesses have grown through the support of Black people.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
So let's take a moment to acknowledge that.
Yes. I mean, not even just the Black customer, the Black media, being on, podcasts like this, where you're able to spread the word and touch people that you wouldn't have been able to touch. I think just the culture in itself, and I love the dynamics on it. And I remember when you were giving points for dollars, and we was giving dollars in order to support businesses, and we had the group where we had to report our spending and things like that. So I'm definitely with you on you being on the forefront of that. And now, because I do have a diverse setting, people will call, and if I have another person from another background answer the phone, they'd be like, wait, is this Black owned? I need to know. And the people there that work, there that are not Black, they are really like, yes, she's still Black owned. Yes. But I have, because I have diversified, I have gotten some feedback on that literally my community want me to have an all Black staff. And that's the thing, is that I have emails and I have things to prove it. And so it's one of those things where it's like, you're supporting the cause, so they want you to grow and expand, but it's only so far, or it's how they want it to look in their interpretation. So I have to say, allow me to diversify, allow me to mimic some of the big organizations that celebrate this diversity. You're still supporting a Black-owned business with just diversity. And so Yeah, I
I
have to
agree.
sometimes kind of justify that too. Yeah.
I agree. And I mean, that's just ignorance, right? Because we have this idea that, okay, there were a lot of people that didn't know major corporations were Black owned, like a Calendly, for
Yeah.
example, right? Because there wasn't a Black face splattered all over it. But his customer base is diverse. You know what I mean? The people that work there are diverse. People that work with me are diverse, right? It just happens that I've attracted Black people from the customer, but I also have white customers. I
Yeah.
also have customers from the LGBTQ community.
There you
I
go.
also, you know what I mean, that are all about the diversity and inclusion, right? So I'm all about that. I'm all about promoting that. But anybody that comes into the business, whether as a customer or as a Kiva, who I work for both, like you said, I work for my team and I work for my customer. You understand our culture, though.
Yeah.
And it's a very Black culture.
Yes.
So I get it. I get it, because somebody get a VA, right? And then they see an Asian, a white person, and somebody Black, and they like, wait, I thought this was Black owned. It is.
Oh yeah. They'll call you on it. You're like, wait, you ours. I'll be like, I am. But allow me to grow. Allow me to scale.
Man, I thought I was the only one really struggling.
No.
But the thing is, when I started last year kind of looking for VAs and went through a Black-owned agency, but they gave me someone who was white. And I was like, my people ain't gonna roll with this. Like,
Especially with what you do.
But I'm like, who I pay is Black. Like, the lady who owns the company is Black. And I'm like, not with my business. I can't have this person front facing. Like, it just, I know my people.
And it's real, right? Like, something that I noticed that was happening in my business is that it was like, there's no such thing as reverse racism, as we know. There's no such thing, but there's reverse discrimination and reverse prejudices and stuff like that. And you would send really high qualified people that you thought this would be a good fit, but they like, no. Right. So I noticed that it became harder to place people that were not of color, that were not Black in my business because of my customer base. So I was like, wait a minute, are we doing the same thing that people be doing to us?
Right.
Right. So, I mean, there's a lesson in that.
Right. We can't be what we're trying to get away from and what we're fighting for. So I think, and then also, we go to many different big companies, and like you said, we don't know the CEO, we don't know how they look, but we support those businesses, but we kind of hold ourselves to a different standard, which can be good and which can be bad. But what I do is I encourage my customers, we're not for everyone. I get it. If this is something that, it's not something that you can get down with, I completely recommend other pest control companies that, that I'll just recommend another company. But I think diversity, we live in a world in diversity and inclusion, and I stand for that. And that's what we're about. So
yeah, I'm here for it as well. That was a good piece, because I don't think we talk about that a lot. The other side being a Black business, and then having people that are not non-Black that work for us, and the impact that it has on our customers, and people being like, well, are you still Black owned? But that also just speaks to our community overall and how we understand business.
Yeah.
Right. There's just an ignorance. And again, going back to why it's important to educate, why I'm really moving in 2023 into the education space, especially around that back office, that operations, that sales, you understand processes, workflows, building a team, and the effectiveness of doing so, because we don't get it. We don't understand it for real, right? Because we have always operated from a hustle mode.
Yeah.
And a now.
Yeah.
I can pay my bills now.
Yeah.
Right. Even in looking at profits, like I think you said it, Danielle, talking about finances, right? Like, I thought I was jizzy jamming. Okay. But then this account, my accountant, she like, wait a minute, but you didn't even take into consideration your expenses.
Child, and them taxes.
Can we talk about taxes?
I got money sitting in the tax account I'm looking at the money sitting in the tax account, and I'm like, I really could be doing something with that money.
Do we have time for that topic? Please
tell me, Robbie. What's girl? Listen, it's a scare. It triggers me.
It's like
people got quiet. Do you see we all got quiet?
Because my bookkeeper that I started with last year was like, she uses the profit first model. So she's like, every dollar you get, you need to be putting the money aside for the taxes, for the expenses, and for you to pay you.
Yes, ma'am.
And so everything I get, I'm putting the money in the tax account. And like I said, I look at my accounts and I'm like, oh, okay. It's just hundreds. It's a couple $100,000 is sitting in the tax account just in case. You know, I don't know what what the IRS gonna pull, but I told her if I don't do nothing else, I need to make sure that the tax money is there and that I can pay my team. Like I'm good. I will make things happen for myself, but I need to make sure it's never a payroll that can't get run and that the IRS is not coming to take everything that I have.
That goes back to that narrative, how the way we used to look at people and used to, oh, you rich, the tax, increase their taxes, they got it. And it's that whole black and white thing. But now as we are, as a culture and a people are getting the opportunity and more of us are in entrepreneurship roles, we're able to see, okay, this is really amazing that you do have to have that model where every dollar comes in, you need to just put it aside. You need to put some aside because the tax bills, the more you try to scale and grow, you know, people, the more the IRS is like, give it to me, give it here. And so you definitely have to forecast correctly. And also what I will, and this is a tip because many people tell people that go into business, write it off. Write it off.
Oh,
write it off.
Oh, and it's like, and now you go try to buy a house and it look like you ain't made no money.
So when I listen to, it's so funny because when I listen to people give advice, depending on what comes out your mouth, I'll be like, oh my God, we are misinforming each other. There is no way if you're trying to prove yourself on paper and your network that you will write off everything. Now, you have to also determine what stage you're in your business and too, and what you're trying to accomplish. But write it off. And you can get a car and write it off. And you can get this. And I'm like, let's stop spreading that narrative because we're putting businesses behind where you're looking up. You're supposed to be in business 3-4 years, but you've grossed this. But because you've wrote everything off, you look like this on paper. And so now you can't qualify for a loan or you can't do certain things because you didn't wrote off everything because we're a culture where it's like, well, go get the clothes and write it off. Go to dinner, write it off. Take a trip, write it off. Let's stop. Let's inform each other a little bit better than what we're doing now here.
And I mean, if you're going to be writing things, like you have to have a true tax strategy. Like that's the thing is that having a strategy around everything. Also forecasting not only your business future, what are your personal goals? Because I had to literally when I did my taxes this year, I had to go back to the accountant and be like, let me go check with my fiance and see if we plan on buying something in the next 2 years, because they're going to ask for those 2 years. They're going to look back 2 or 3 years. And if it looks like I made $30,000, how can I contribute to the house purchase? You know, like I don't want him to have to bring everything to the table, especially when I'm over here running a business that's bringing in hundreds of thousands of dollars. But then on paper, it looks like I made $30,000 last year. It doesn't make sense, you know. So it's a lot of sensationalism. A lot of these gurus online is telling you write all these things off, go get in the business name, go do like all these things, and it's so frustrating, which is one of the reasons why we launched the Boom Into the Bank program, because we were working with Citibank, several other local banks here in Nashville that were like, we got money for Black-owned businesses. There are loan funds specifically for Black-owned businesses. I could not get people to apply, and I got a huge network of Black-owned businesses, but on paper, first of all, some didn't even have business bank accounts, didn't even have, you know, any sort of accounting software, can't pull profit and loss statements, balance sheets, any of those things. So first we got to do those things. Then we have other folks that it looks like their cash flow is like the cash flow doesn't look well, or their profitability just looks extremely low, Well, it
Yeah.
looks like they're just not making no money because they're writing everything off when they go into the bank and they show them the tax.
Yeah.
So it's like we have to plan. We have to take a step back. I think you said earlier the importance of taking a step back to get your shit together. Like it just it's so important that we take that step back. Sometimes we're just on go mode,
Yeah.
hustle mode all the time, and we're not thinking about how I need to take this week to focus on finding me a bookkeeper, getting my stuff together so I can file taxes, being able to take advantage of opportunities like the PPP loan without fudging documents, like being able to. And I was one of those people who was in a position where I had a business bank account. I had QuickBooks set up, connected to the bank account, but I hadn't done nothing with it and hadn't filed my taxes for 2020. PPP came around and I was like, well, I can't do nothing because I don't have the things done.
Right.
Luckily, I had positioned myself to be able to go pay somebody to go back and reconcile this stuff and me be able to, file the taxes for last year. So I always just try to encourage people, at least the bare minimum is getting the bank account and getting the a QuickBooks or something connected to it so that it's at least, categorizing the transaction, those basic things that you can do that you can easily go back and fix if you need to.
Absolutely.
But at least get the basic things in place. Pay the $12 a month for the QuickBooks. It costs money to do business.
I mean, I swear, I don't understand why people think anytime you bring up something about investing in your business, from quality education versus the microwave masters that are misleading you, you understand it. People are frazzled. The real flex, y'all, is an accountant. I always say that if I could go back and do anything over again, it would be getting me an accountant. We're going to go real quick to this commercial break. Then we're going to come back for some final thoughts.
Key Virtual Support Solutions matches you with highly qualified, pre-vetted entry to executive level talent for your business or personal needs. We can support you or your team with administrative, sales, customer service, or operation needs. The process is simple and we can match you within 72 hours. Call 217-212-4367 or visit our website at keysupportsolutions.com to learn more.
All right. We're back. Again, we've been talking heavily about getting the right people in place to help you scale and get your business affairs in order. Look, it's all cute, your little TikTok videos and stuff like that, promoting your stuff, but you can't sleep at night if your business is not in order. You cannot do business with banks. You cannot do business with government. You cannot do business with other businesses that are serious about business if your stuff ain't in order. I know that for a fact because I'm not doing business with you if your stuff not in order. Right? I mean, everybody ain't my client. I ain't for everybody. Maybe you do need to start at Fiverr, right? But if you come to me and your stuff isn't in order, and I tell you, before you can bring somebody into your mess, we got to clean up some stuff, right? So that you can have some structure for a person to even work. And you like, I don't got time for that. I'm not a good fit for you, right? I'm trying to help you help yourself. So definitely call Key Virtual Support Solutions if you need that help. Make sure that you check out the Black Business Boom. Is the Black Business Boom only open to businesses in Nashville?
No. We serve businesses all over the country. So you can go to blackbusinessboom.com or follow us on Instagram for more information on our upcoming cohorts.
Make sure that you do that. And then if you got spiders that want to camp out up in your crib or any other rodents that be trying to come through, you know to call my girl Robbie with RB Pest Solutions. And Robbie, are you just in Chicago right now, or?
So we're in Indiana as well. So if you call either one of the 312-217-9605, or if you just put in r.b.pest solutions in Google, everything about us will pop up and you'll be able to reach us directly.
Okay, very good. Real quick, before we get into final thoughts, I want some fun stuff. We need to come back. This is a self-care moment because we got a lot to process from that last, talk about taxes triggers me. Okay. It's triggering. You see Robbie's face? She got quiet. Let me tell you what I think. She was like, right. So no words. When you start making that money, Listen, them tax bills get higher and higher and higher, and especially if you're doing it right, because you should not be writing off everything. I wouldn't have been able to get this house if I had done it in that way. I wouldn't have been able to do that. I wouldn't be having the credit that I have. You know what I mean? It's just a lot of things. So I don't want to look like I make $20,000 on paper. I don't want to, you know, I can't get nothing. I can't live the life that I want. Right. So let's talk about this. Robbie, what's your favorite the favorite song that gets you going?
So I love some trap music. Like when I'm out, I want to hear just straight like gutter. I don't want to hear nothing lyrically conscious. I'm having a good time. So I want to hear everything while I can put my hand, and I want to hear everything like that because it's my motivation. I'm working out, partying. So anything trap, hustler, gutter, put it on. That's what
so no J. Cole, huh? No Kendrick.
It's a time and place for him. And my mom, I'm going to see Nas and Wu-Tang tonight. Like it's a time and place for them.
Yeah.
But when I'm trying to, I want to hear, you know, dollar bills. I want to hear, you know, I need my motivation.
Oh God, I think we lost.
I know.
Did we lose TeQuila? Well, I'm gonna go ahead and answer the question. We'll keep it rolling. I will say what gets me going right now is Beyonce, but I'm usually the trap person. Like they're like going to see earlier this summer, we went to see Jeezy and Gucci, and I was like I burned all the calories. I turned on my Apple Watch and tracked them all. I burned like 1,600 calories just dancing. But these days, I feel like Beyonce's Renaissance album I listen to every morning as I'm working out. I get up every morning and I'm like working out while cleaning up around the house. And I listen to that whole album and it just makes me feel like I can do anything. Like I can accomplish anything and I am that girl. When she comes on and she's like, these ain't stopping me. I'm like, that's how I be feeling every morning. Ain't nobody got to stop me. And as soon as I didn't get to do it this morning, but as soon as we wrap up, Beyonce will be playing and I'll be dancing around the house and grab my dumbbells and give me a workout in to Beyonce.
Love it.
Okay, so flip it. What's that movie that motivates you, Robbie? I'm not big on watching movies more than once, but I know a lot of people that will watch movies, and it don't got to motivate you. It could just move you, whether that is romantically, autobiography, whatever. What is it?
So me and you share that in common. I don't like to watch movies more than one time. I'm done with it. But what I've been loving is Succession. I don't know if anyone got an opportunity to watch that show and watch how the rich move money around and how they pass it down. But the dynamics of that is amazing to me. So I like to watch documentaries of the rich, how they've got into business, how they've spread their wealth through insurance and indexing. That's my thing. You can always catch me watching Succession. Watch it. It's so good.
Yes. Yes, honey. What about you, Danielle?
I was sitting there trying to think of a movie, but I'll tell you what is interesting to me. I love watching The Wolf of Wall Street. It just really kind of shows you, again, how they move differently and how they can get ahead with doing different things that we probably couldn't get away with. But but I don't know why, but I just love watching that movie and just kind of seeing the behind the scenes of how much he was a mess, but he was making money and growing and scaling this thing. And I'm like, I always find that movie interesting.
Do you listen to his podcast?
I don't.
He got a podcast. He's still a beast.
I need to get into it.
Yeah.
Yes, honey. He's still a beast. So podcasts are my thing, and I listen to a lot of things. I guess movies, TV, anything like that. It's just how you look at trap music. It's just an escape. I don't want to really think. I don't really want to, but if I am, I do like to watch things like how you said, Succession, anything that's about power and obtaining and legacy and generational wealth. And, I love to watch autobiographies and the stories of other people and how they came up. I love a good underdog story.
Yeah.
Love a good underdog story. Okay. So favorite vacation spot, Danielle?
We went to Greece in May, and I've been a lot of places, but I think that is really my top. Santorini was one of my favorite places I've ever been. But if we ever just need a quick getaway, we go to Mexico. And it's always, always nice and easy to just pop over to Mexico. But I would say my favorite place I've ever been so far, I think, is Santorini, Greece.
Robbie.
I've been traveling like crazy, but Miami has a hold of me now. I just anytime I just want to get away, every good 2 to 3 times every 30 to 45 days, I'm in Miami now, looking to move there.
I need a place like that, like to just every month I'm like out here just.
It's a good time. Florida is good. It's good. That's all I'm gonna say. I've been looking to purchase some there.
I'm in Florida.
Yeah.
Yes, and be out. You're gonna be is it a snowbird? Is that what they call it?
I'll be there in the winter, here in the
That's what I already told Dre that. I was like, look, I set my life up to be a certain way. Now, if you want to continue to be stationary, I'll see you during the warm months. Just saying, I love you. I just want to be somewhere where it's warm and chill. But I love Colombia. I loved Colombia so much.
Which city?
So much. I was in Medellin.
And I like Medellin.
I did. I liked Medellin, but I also went to Cartagena, which I loved. Like you could place me anywhere in Colombia, and I feel like I'm at home. It's the weather, you know what I mean? The fresh fruit, the people, the parties, the color, the vibe. I went to a hip hop spot. I didn't understand nothing they were saying, but it was the vibe. You understand?
Wow.
So I loved it, and it's not I think 3 hours, 4 hours to get there. It's not a long trip.
Yeah. I was like, I've been to Mexico, all these Spanish speaking countries. I usually be all right. But there I was like, I don't know what folks are saying. I don't know what's going on. But you were like in the Parque Aires. Is that the
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
I'll give it another try.
Yeah, you can once.
Yeah.
Robbie, you got to definitely go. I would say Cartagena would probably be more your speed. So, Cartagena. Medellin can be very touristy, right? It can be depending on where you at and what vibe you into. So you might be, and it was okay. It was okay to do that. But I also went into the towns too.
Yeah.
Were you there when Mabel was there? When Mabel tapped?
I don't know.
Okay, she spent some time there. I met Dontecia Seymour through her when I was there visiting. It was a lot.
I know. And somebody told, when I was traveling like that, Mabel was traveling, but I'm not sure I don't think she was in Colombia because we would have definitely met up.
Yeah, we met. I've known her brother for years, and I was solo traveling, and in Thailand, that's where I initially met her. And then she was like, well, I'm going to Medellin. And I was like, I'll come down here. It don't take much for me to hop on a plane. I'm like, okay.
It's a huge expat community there. So look, Kimberly says she got to check out Secession.
Me too.
Yes,
she's gonna love it. Y'all gonna love it.
Don't love it. What's your book? What's that book that you got in print and on Audible if you listen to Audible?
A book called Traction.
Traction,
I have on both. I have the print and I have the audio version that I listen to. So I'll revisit that probably every year. I'll revisit Traction.
Yeah. So of course, you have The Richest Man in Babylon and all those good ones.
Yeah.
But it's also another one that he came out with, which is A Talk with the Devil.
Ooh, I haven't read that.
And that one is real interesting.
Was it written very similar to The Richest Man in Babylon?
Very similar, yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, driving and listening to it, because you can read it, but when you listening to some of the conversations that he's having with the devil and why he orchestrates and does the way that he does, I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh my God.
So it's an interesting book.
I'm definitely taking note on that because I like the writing style of that and the lessons, like how the lessons are presented in story. I love things like that. Yeah. And it was an easy read. Like you literally can spend a day on a nice day outside, your glass of wine and read through that piece in a couple hours. So I loved The Richest Man in Babylon too. I just recently read that. Every year, though, I revisit the 4 agreements and the 5th agreement every year, as a reminder to myself of how I want to move and be. And they're very simple principles, but very difficult to execute. Right. You know, being impeccable with your word. You know, I know we can all think about the last time we done told somebody off. Never taking anything personal. You know, you say you don't, but you find yourself taking things personal. Never make assumptions. You still find yourself assuming, right? So there are these, and then the 5th agreement, which I got put on and my mind was blown, right? When I listened to that, because it's just talking about how we all live, whether we're doing it intentionally or unintentionally, is being the creators of our destiny and defining how we want to live and not allowing anybody to tell us what is and is not possible. Like impossibility doesn't exist in our world for real, right? And that's what the 5th agreement is about, right? Like, you know, in the beginning was the word, and the word was with God, and what you speak, what you think, and what you put into action will be. And I can't, nobody can tell me anything different.
That's it. That's the formula. That's it. When people ask you how and why and what, that's it. Period.
That's it. Be consistent with that. You can speak, but if you don't believe and you don't act and you think an opposite, then it won't happen.
Yeah.
Right? So you're like, well, I am speaking it, but you don't believe it though.
Yeah, you don't believe, and you got to get out the way too. Because once you do it, you got to do the work and get out the way. You can't hover over it.
Yeah.
It's already done once you put it out there.
It's done. It's done. I just had this conversation with my mother. I'm like, you are a worry wart. If you didn't have nothing to worry about, you would be worried.
Yeah, we got the same mama. Okay.
Listen, it's like, didn't you say it was going to be this way? That's what you said. Then let it be. Okay.
That's what it is.
Right,
it is what it is.
Y'all, I'm having so much fun. I swear we can go on and on. This is a good dynamic. In December, we will be having a brunch with all of our guests that were part of the executive suite. So Danielle, it is in December. So I mean, if you decide go ahead and come on home for a day or two. You know, so it'll be a nice weekend and a nice brunch and everything. So I'm looking forward. You guys will get that information from my production coordinator. But before we leave, let's leave with some final thoughts about today's session. What have you taken away from today, Robbie?
I just love when I don't have to, you know, some people you have to get around them and have a preliminary conversation about your day-to-day, what you're going through emotionally, professionally. And so it feels good when I get with my tribe and, you know, we're throwing around terms and having think like it's just a connection immediately when people are going through what you're going through. Because you could call yourself an entrepreneur, but you quickly learn in conversation, like, okay, this person gets it. This is where this person is financially, staff-wise. So it feels good to have spoken with the both of you and spent my afternoon. Like, this is a self-care moment for me. This is what self-care is like, where you can stop in the middle of an operational day and just connect with your tribe and just know that you're not alone, know that you got this. And people look like you. They talk like you. They sound like you. I am you. You are me. And when I get around that type of vibe and energy, I just felt like I didn't got high off something. I'm just a natural high to have. So thank you both for sharing this space with me in this hour and a half. It's been amazing.
Man, I really appreciated having you, and you couldn't have said it better for me. Danielle, what
I literally echo everything that Robbie said. I mean, it's so nice to have these conversations and to feel like sometimes I feel like a lot of the business owners I'm around, I'm teaching them, you know, so it's nice to have conversations with folks that are also experiencing the same sort of growing pains and experience and, you know, scaling businesses like I am. This was an amazing conversation. It always feels good to feel like other people are going through the same thing as you and you are not just crazy, you know, like I'm not the only one that's over here. Like, I just need to lay down and not make another decision. You know, like sometimes you feel like you're alone and nobody else can really feel you on some things. So it was just amazing. And also to know that we all feel the same way when it comes to accounting
Listen.
for our businesses. Nobody wants to do it. Nobody likes to do it, but we got to do it.
Nope, got to.
Got to. And I always appreciate when people, like I said, that I know are running and building empires, right, take the time out to talk. There's so many misconceptions about our support of each other as Black people and as women, right? But I don't live that life, so I don't know that life. So I truly, truly appreciate you guys coming out and talking, and it's good to see. I think between the two of you, it's really a balance of how I live and how I move, with like Robbie, the things that you watch on TV, wanting to have your trap music, building a legacy, right? To Danielle, like your favorite spot to relax and self-care is in the bed, order you some Uber Eats, you understand, kick back, that cat life, right? Mm-hmm. So for me, a big thing is like, you can have it all, really. You design your life. You design your life and you can do whatever it is you want. And I see that every single day. I'm seeing it with Robbie. I'm seeing it with Danielle. And I see it with my own life and all of our guests that have been on this show. So I truly, truly appreciate you guys. And as a way of a show of my support, I want to show you what we got a little gift for you, a little token. Didn't see her? Yeah, so this is our little thank you mug. If you're anything like me, I collect mugs, right? I like the mugs. So I want to give you guys some memories, a memorabilia of this time here on the Executive Suite. And that Q is representative of Key, and just a thank you for being on. So Denicia will send you the information for the mugs and how to redeem that. Denicia, you can take that down. How to redeem that, and also the information about the brunch, where I will also be showing my appreciation and thanks for you guys coming on. It has been a complete pleasure. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you so much.
Gratitude.
Namaste. Namaste. All right, guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, guys. Thank you so much for being a part of our conversation today. It is always a blessing to be able to build with my sister friends that are doing the work in their areas of expertise, operating in their zone of genius. And hopefully you guys picked up some gems and were inspired to do the same. Make sure that you are subscribing to our channel, our YouTube channel. Make sure that you're following our Facebook page. Make sure that you're liking and sharing this because we always have the recordings for you to listen to later. And also make sure that you are liking us on, following us on Spotify and iHeart Radio if you just want to listen in, right? So thank you so, so much. Make sure that you're subscribed, and I will definitely see you in 2 weeks with our next guest. We're out. Peace.